before we begin the tip video, I have a couple of announcements first. Mr. Green has posted that video that I mentioned in my announcement maybe last week, a couple weeks ago at the most. I did the first half of that video. It was a collaboration between him and I, and I'll post that in the description below so you can go check it out. I want you guys to look into his content. He's got some very interesting stuff coming along the way to look forward to, so definitely keep an eye on him. A very good up-and-coming deductionist. Second announcement, something that I'm sure you guys will be excited about, is that I have gotten my hands on a second pair of recording goggles, or recording glasses. This will allow me to restart the live Deductions series. I know a lot of you commented that was your favorite of my Deduction series. So I'll be able to get that going again soon. I suppose that's it on the announcements. So I'll go on to the deduction tips now. Today, I'm gearing this video towards people who have been doing deduction for a little while now, people who are getting good at it. A few problems that you might encounter. I also do have a video geared toward beginner deductionists and the problems they might encounter. And then I have a video geared more toward seasoned deductionists and the problems that we might encounter. So it'll be like 3 videos that all kind of fit together, but this is the one that I had ready to go. I have the other 2 coming along the way. So the first tip that I can mention, the first problem that I know people will encounter once they've been doing deduction for a little while, is how to keep it fresh. This can get to the point where you've been doing deduction for a little while now, and everything kind of seems repetitive. A few ways you can keep it fresh is to add things to your scan. If you are getting good at your scan, if you can, deduce someone's shoes, then you move up to their trousers, then their belt, then their torso, then their face, their hands, whatever. However you do your scan. And Jordan has a really, really good video about where to look for in a scan. When you make your scan, add other things to your scan to look for. So that's one thing. 2, look for things that are important to that individual that may not be part of a regular scan. 3, learn to deduce other things than just people. A lot of deductionists will get to the point where they're really good at deducing people, but they don't know how to deduce things about a room, or how to deduce things about a car or a vehicle. So add other things to deductions. Don't just deduce people, deduce locations, deduce vehicles, deduce buildings. If you can add practice to other things, other places, if you can add other things to deduce to your regimen, your training regimen, you'll be keeping it a little bit fresher. The second thing that I can mention, and I can never stress this enough, I've mentioned it before, is daily deductions, too. Make sure that I know it can be hard to do deductions every day. I have that problem. Some days I just don't leave the house and I don't get to make deductions. That's where you have to take the time out to make deductions, though. Whether you go online to the Science of Deduction subreddit and you make deductions there, or I had my subscribers recently, I asked them to send me pictures of their room or themselves, or whatever the case may be, and I made deductions off of that. I kept those in files and I made deductions off of that. Or just if you are out and about, take the time to slow down and make deductions. Even if you're in a rush, I know it's hard. The coffee shop I work at is extremely high volume, so some days I can be super slow and I have all the time in the world to make deductions. Other days, I'm having a hard time finding time to breathe. But if you can make deductions, if you can take time out every day to make deductions in whatever form it takes, that's going to help keep it fresh in your mind as well. And then coping with repeat deductions, or when deduction becomes second nature. What I mean by that in my terminology is when, like, you get so good at making certain deductions that it feels like you're skipping it. For example, I've gotten to the point where I can deduce handedness without even focusing on it. Between the shoes, their belt, their hand, and their watch or whatever, I can determine handedness at a glance without even thinking about it. I just kind of know that they're, what hand they use. This can become a problem when you have gotten to the point that you can deduce it so well that it feels like you're skipping it, or it feels like you're not even doing the deductions. Your deductions may feel half-baked because all the information is there, but you just kind of skimmed over it. It doesn't mean you're wrong, but it can make you feel like you're losing touch with the deduction, and in a sense you kind of are. When you get to the point where you are making deductions so fast that you're not even processing it, it's dangerous, because your mind is already geared to take shortcuts in life. And when it takes shortcuts in life, you make mistakes. It was Maria Konnikova, her book, when she mentioned that when you get to that point, when deduction becomes second nature, you need to be extra careful to focus on those areas. Because when it becomes second nature, your mind has that tendency to slip back into taking those shortcuts. So if you are at the point where you are good at deducing handedness at a glance, you need to focus on handedness so that you don't skip it. Because once you start skipping it, you'll start forgetting it. Once you start forgetting it, your mind will start slipping back to Watson mindset, where you make deductions, or you don't even make deductions, but you think you're making deductions, and you get to the point where you're skipping things again, and you're looking for shortcuts again. And that's dangerous. So, if you realize you have a problem area like that, it's important that you focus on sprucing it up again so that it's not a problem area. One thing that might help with that is adding something to that training, so that maybe you're looking at someone's hand to determine handedness. What if you start looking at their hand to determine something else, like what they do for a living? But yeah, that's about it on the tips today. Just keep things fresh, and then it'll help you not to fall into repeat deductions. That's it for now. This is becoming a really long video. I do have the other two videos mentioned in this one that I will go back and film soon, so keep an eye out for those if you are a beginner deductionist or a veteran deductionist. I have something coming out for both of you, so keep an eye out for that, and have a good day.